at. All right. So we're going to continue from where we stopped. What are we going to be doing today? We're going to be setting up our colors, and after that, we're going to set up the layouts. And if there is time, we're going to set up the header part and the component that we have there. So we have the logo component, we have the speaker, the front speaker, and we have the toggler there, which is going to change based on whether we are in dark mode or we are in light mode. And as you can see, this is the color it to show when it is in light mode, and this is the color it's going to show when it is in dark mode. And these images has been given to us. We just need to switch them based on whether we are in dark mode or we are in light mode there, like that. So let's set up the colors. So let's set up the colors, and I'm seeing that the color here don't have a name. So what I'm going to do here is to just name all this one the app secondary color, like that. Why this one is going to be the purple, the app purple, and this one is going to be the app red, because same will actually come with its own color that you can modify, but I don't want to modify it. We just extend it by adding our own, just like the way we did it for the fonts family. So we need to extend the colors too. So we just need to call the colors, and under the colors we can specify the name we want. So first, let's start with the one that is simple, which is this app red, because it's just a single color for it. So we just need to get a color code, which is down here. So this is the code, or clicking on this, you're still going to see it here too, but I want to copy the hash along with it. So just copy the stuff, paste. So the other one we have is this app purple here. So the same thing too, just need to click on it, and we use this color. And this other color that I'm seeing for this dark one, they will already have them. So instead of us creating them, we can just use the one that the Tailwind is giving to us. Tailwind already have white, Tailwind already have black, and black is always black. So, but just that this one have a little bit of white to it, like that. It's not really 100% black, but if we look at it, it's 2%. So it's 2% on pure. Everything's supposed to be 000 before it to be pure black, but it's still close to 2% out of 100. So it's really close to black there, like that. You look at this one, is 12% like that of white. This one is 18% of white, while this one is 23%. So they will have all these color, and we can just use it directly. For these two, it's different from what they will have there, so we can just go with them like that, because I don't want to waste time on the color setup there. So what do we need to do now? The next thing we need to do is to work on our layout, because if you look at it now, it's the same layout for every page that we have. So, and as you can see on that layout, you have this header section where you have the logo, the picker for the font, and the toggler for the dark mode there. And again, you see that this search too is present on every page. So which means we need to put this in as part of a layout there like that. But I don't want this thing to show when we're on the error 404 page. So when it is on the error 404 page, we don't want to see it. So how do we do that? So we're going to see how we can handle it. But first, let's start with our layout. And if you look at the design, you see that everything stops at a particular width when you get to a bigger screen. But don't forget, we have tablet too. So this is how it looks like on tablet. So there's almost space like that. It's just padding that is there. And the same thing too on the mobile. So the space are being used. But on the desktop, the maximum stuff there, so this is stop around that maybe 1024 or so, because this screen now, this desktop now is 1440. By the time you check it, as you can see, the width is 90 rem, and if you check what is 90 rem there, you are going to see that it's going to give us that 1440 there. For example, I can just say the width here is going to be 90 rem, like as you can see, it's 1440. So what we need to do there is to make sure that the width is not going more than 1024 there like that, so that we're going to have this kind of a container. And luckily for us, they will actually come with a container that we can use. The only thing we can just do there is to tell you that, okay, when you're on this particular screen, this is the width we want you to use. And as you can see, we talked about it too last time. This is the container for Tailwind. So when you are using container there, you see that it's going to use this default setting. So on small screen, the maximum width is 640, which is on this part, which is the same thing as 100%. So 768 is still that same 768. So all of them is just as if it is 100% until even this 2XL2, it have this max width. But I don't want to use this their setting. So we want to change it to our own based on the application that we want to work on. And how can we change it? As you can see under the theme, you can change anything you want there. So for this container now, we can specify the screen that we want to use like that. So on this container or on the container, the screen. So this one is really talking about pattern, but you can change the screen too by going to the Tailwind config. So under the theme, because we don't want to extend, we want to change the container. So this container here, on it, you can actually modify the screen. So you have the screen. So which screen do you want to show at a particular width? So this 0% or small or whatever stuff, these are what it's going to use by default. So on small screen, yeah, what do you want to use? Then we can modify any one of them like that. So let's open, let me go to the component, and we don't have that yet. So let's create another folder here, which is going to be layout. So under our layout, we're going to have the app layout, the JSX like this. So RAFCE, so that it can create the component for us. So let me move this thing to one side here, so that we can see what is going on the page there. So the server is running already. So what we just need to do is to go to our page. And right now we should get the error 404 page, because what I'm having in this URL is not correct. Yeah, so we have this error 404 like that. But let me go back to the page. So we need to use this app layout. Where do we want to use it? So where do we want to use the app layout? We want all our page to always be under this layout there. So we need to go under the app. So app. So in the app, as you can see here, everything is going to be rendered under the app layout here. So save, and what is it saying? So import and save. And as you can see now, the only thing we have there is going to be this app layer. But instead of you doing like this, because this is bad, so now I have to start going inside the app layer to start receiving the children. But I don't want to do that. So instead of us doing it from here, we can actually do it directly from our routing that you know before. So here now, what we can do is to use the paths. So the element here, it's now going to be this app layout. So under it, what do we need to have? We just need to have children, and whatever items you put under these children, they are always going to appear in your this is it. So let's copy all this one. I don't need this one again like that, or I still need it, but I'm going to use it as the index that you always see. It's just like the way we did it for our last app there. So let me move this one up here, and let's do this one. Then from there, this one is not going to have path again. What is going to be there is our index to be true, which means this is what we want to show anytime we get to a page. If you go to search time, it's still the same home page, but if you go to any other one, we don't see anything. But this one here now is not going to show on our 404. But don't forget, I said we are not going to be showing this stuff on our 404 page. So let me move this thing up so that we can have it beside the app. So on this thing, I said on our 404 page, we don't want to see anything like header. We only have that or this particular stuff at the center, and you have the button for you to go back to the home. And that's the reason why you see that I'm not including this 404 under this app layout. So if this thing is saved here, once you save and you go back to the page, then you see that we are seeing our 404 page, but it's not showing that layout. Why? Because I did not put it under the layout. But if you go back to the home page, you see that this one now is going to show the layout. But in order for the details on the layout to show, so in order for the details of the page that we want to work on to show, don't forget we need to use our outlet. So outlet, and that's where we want to render the content. But for now, we'll just put it under the main, save, and as you can see, we have the details. And before it, you can put any other information that we want to display as part of the layout there like that. So if you're on 404 page, it's not going to show the layout, but once you go to other page, then it's going to bring it out based on what we set up in our app there. And what do we want to do here now? So we need to lay out the store. If you look at it, we need to have this header section here. So inside the header section, we're going to be having logo, and we're going to be having this other content. And don't forget, we already have component. We're supposed to have component for this. So we're supposed to have component for this. So under the component, we have the site header. So we need to render it here. So we need to render our site header. What's going on? So site header here. And what are we going to be doing inside site header? Let me import it myself. It's not coming in. Site header, then from, so which is going to come from, go back from the component and the site header. So here, save and run it. Going back to the screen, we should have the site header appearing there like that. So inside the site header, that's where we're going to have the logo and these other items. So after the site header, as you can see, there is a search box that we need to have there. So again, here too, after the site header, we need to have the search feature. But I've not created that component, so let me quickly do that right now. So we need to have the search box .jxx like this, which is going to use this RAFC2 to quickly bootstrap the component. So save, and going back to this, we should now have our search box available for us to be used. So now import it to, save, go back to the page. We should have the site header, the search button. We now have the main page content that we want to display. So this one now, this is where the main content is going to be placed. So we need to start with the styling now, but there's some stuff we need to do first, because I can see on the page, if you go back to the element, you see that we have this div of our root, and as you can see that it did not cover the entire screen. If you look at the body, you see that that one too is stopping there. The root is stopping at that page. So we need to make sure that they actually cover up the entire height of the screen, no matter the content that is inside them. So they should, so that we can place some content at the center later on. If not, we'll not be able to place it at the center of the page. So we can do all this setting directly from here. So I'm going to select the body, and at the same time I'm going to select that element. So all of them like this. I want the screen to have a minimum of a screen like this. So save and apply the stuff. So coming back, can you see now everything now full the entire screen, because no matter the content that is inside them, they are going to make sure that they fill up the screen. It can increase later on, but make sure that the minimum is this whatever screen height that I'm working on there like that. So, and I think that's the only setting that we need, but for now I can just say W full, which is going to be width should be 100%. Then overflow X should be hidden. We don't want anything to go outside on the X axis in case there's anything that is going to go outside later on. So this is just the basic setting that we can do on the page, and I can see that the background is white. Except if the theme change from dark to light. For example, here now going back to the page, and then add attributes, and which attribute do I want to add? I want to add a class attribute, and it's going to have this dark. But right now, nothing is showing because we did not apply any dark stuff. So we should be able to change the background and the text color of it based on whether you are in dark mode or in light mode. And if you check the design we're working on, when we're in the dark mode, the background is this, while the text is this particular white color. All the texts are going to be white except the one that you change later on, and why this background is going to be black. So let's quickly apply that. So by default, the BG should just be white like this. So what is text? What's the text when you are in light mode? So if you look at the color of the text, by default should be all this color here, which I'm saying this 2D, 2D, 2D. So that I'm going to use the so text gray like this, or I'm going to use slate. So then we have a class for slate, as you can see, which look like a gray color. So I'm going to use something that is close to that. This is 1, this is 3. Let me use this 1 like that. So save. So by default, when we're in light mode, the color is going to be this. But once you go back into the dark mode, so now dark, BG should be I don't want to use that black too. It's going to be slate because I prefer that slate. It's kind of a close question with dark BG slate like this. So I'm just going to use this 900 like that. Then when it is in dark, then the text is going to be, I'm not going to use white too. It's still going to be slate, but to be a lighter version of it, which is close to white. It's not technically white, but it is kind of a close to white. So when we're in dark mode, this is the background we want to use. And when we're in light mode, by the time I remove the dark from here, then it's going to change it to light there. So this is the setting we want to have when we are in dark mode or light mode for the background there. So when we're in light mode, the background is going to be white, the text is going to be this 800. But when we're in dark mode, then this thing is going to be this. But I'm seeing it that this color is close to, so let me use black and see. Yeah, I think the black, it's okay. So let me check the design again. So we're in dark mode. I think that's it, but it's too much. Let me use gray. So let me try gray. So gray of 950, and let's see how it looks like. So I think this one is better than the former one. So it's not that black, but it's close to it. So now we have the setting for the background on dark and the light mode there. So what do we need to do now? We need to work on this layout. We don't want this content to keep moving. But before we move into this desktop one, I always love to work from the mobile design there. So if you look at it on mobile, what is the padding? So every content that is inside it, as you can see here, they are not, see the padding? No, that's not it. This one is more close to the edge. So the part, yeah, kind of the same. As you can see, the edge, the spacing between the edge of the browser and the content is that 1.5 rem. So which means on the mobile, we need to have that padding there like that. Because currently, if you look at our design, going to responsive mode and enter the mobile, as you can see, there is no padding at all. So we need to check the padding that we need to use. So on mobile, the padding is 1.5 from the edge there. So let me click on this text too and look at this. Yeah, it's the same thing. And let's see the top section. So for the top, the padding too is 1.5, and for the down one is not the major thing. So the top and the left and right is what we need right now. So we need to go into our layout. So this is the div that is wrapping everything. So it's going to have a class wfu hfu, so that it cover up its parents like that. And what else do we need to do? So what we need to do here is to apply our padding. So padding that we measured is 1.5, and which should be around this for 1. Yeah, this 6. So the padding should be this, but I want the one at the bottom to be more than that because I want space at the bottom part. So PB should be around that 14. There should be a lot of spacing at the bottom so that the user can scroll up and have more space at the bottom side. Right now, we are not going to see the bottom one because the content is not that much. But when we started scrolling up, you see that there will be a lot of padding at the bottom side. So left and right, we have this like that. And on a big screen, we don't want this our box to go more than 1440. The screen I'm using right now cannot emulate 1440 at 100%. As you can see, it can only emulate 75% of it, because this screen on its own is 1002 it's not even to 1280, it's 1024 like that. So let me go to this 1000. Yeah, it can only emulate this one like that. So and it did not even pick this one as 100%, because the screen on its own is 1024, so it cannot emulate it as 100%. Talk less of emulating 1440 like that. So it can only emulate it with this. But we don't want our screen to keep going anyhow like this. So we want to apply container. So we need to apply container. And when we're on big screen, we don't need padding on left and right. When we're on the bigger screen, we don't need padding on left and right, which is on the large. Now, let me just leave it like that. But what we want to do, yeah, MX should be auto, because we want the stuff to be center like that. Once it's saved, as you can see, it have the stuff. And if you check the container, you see what it's going to do on 640, on 7, whatever stuff. And if you want to modify it, don't forget we've already set it up here in Tailwind. So if I get to a bigger screen, maybe this extra large now, I don't want the screen to be bigger than 1024 like this. Saved like that. And by the time we get back to the page, you see that there is now more space there, because I've already given it that once you enter this last screen, the container there, the maximum width is going to be this 1024 like that. So the same thing too for this large 1024 should be okay like that. So this one too should just be 1024 like this. I don't want them to be, or this one should just be 1280 pixels, because this screen is really large like that. So when we are on a big screen, which is this 1440, the max width there should be this. And you can check what the container is going to do, or you can go back to the Tailwind and where we are using it. If you check it again, you see that it will be using something else there once it gets to this thing. So where is it? What do we want to do again? So what we want to do now is to set up our header. Or before I even get to the header side, so let me display it as flex. So flex cool, because everything should still be on top of each other, but gap is going to be around this 8, because I don't want them to jump back to each other. So it's going to give a space like this. Then we can start working on the header of the site, which I'm going to open it up. So we have this site header. And what do we need to have inside the site header? We need to have the logo, which is going to be a link, because it's something that you can click on and it's going to redirect you back to the home page. So anytime you click on it, just go back to the slash like that. But what do we need to have inside it? We're going to have an image. And where is the image coming from? It's coming from the images like this. And that was the name of the image that we want to use. It is this logo SVG there. So logo then SVG like this. It's always good that you use the auth in case the image is not loading or something happened, or for the accessibility there. It's always good that you put this auth, which I'm going to call it this app logo like that, or any text that is describing your application. And as you can see now, we have the logo. So apart from the logo, here we have this other section by this side, because there are two things here. So why am I creating that div? The reason why I'm creating the div is because on the design there, we have these two sections there. We have these two other elements. So these two, they are together. And again, inside this header, that's where you now have this one. So inside the header, you have the logo that is standing on its own by the left, and you have this one by this other side. And I'm going to change the div that I have at the top here into header, so that we are using a semantic tag there like that. It's not a must. This one too will work, but it's always good that you use the corresponding tag. So this one too is going to be displayed as flex. So items is going to be center there. So center, because we want it to be center. Then justify between, because we want to move the other content uh, to the right side. Look at what is happening here. So that these two are by the right, while this one is on the left side. So that's what we need to justify. On the mobile, there won't be any difference because there is no space. The space is not that much. But once you get to tablet and a bigger screen, that's where you started seeing this thing. So we need to give a gap maybe around that 4, which is 1 rem by default. Should just give this gap of 1 rem in between them. So inside this div here, this is where we now have our this picker here. So this selector here, this is where we can pick the language. And if you look at the design is not that simple because it's not using the normal select that we are used to. So I'm going to skip it for now because I will be using something else for it and I don't want to create it myself. So this is a drop down here, which is something that we can create by ourselves too, but I don't want to waste time. But if it's something that we need to do, we might actually come back into it, but there's still a lot of things that needs to be taken to the account when you want to do any drop down here. But for now, I'm going to skip it because it needs a stage for us to know whether this thing is open or it's not open, or we can even go with it and just create it directly here like that. So let's just create the stuff, and it's going to be a component on its own. So I'm going to create another component for it too, because inside this div, it's going to hold the component for, okay, we already have it, so which we call the font picker. So we call it font picker, and the other one we have there is this dark mode toggler here. So, and this thing is not importing them, so let me quickly import it. So we have this font picker, then from the font picker like this. So for the other one, import dark mode toggler like this, then from dark mode toggler, then save, and we should have the two of them on the page. Now we have them, but they needs to be side by side. So they needs to be side by side, not like this. And that's not the text that's supposed to be there. So we need to update the text. So let me close all this one that we're not using currently. Anything we're not using, let me just close so that I have enough space to work with there. So close this CSS2. I'm not using it right now. So what do we want to open? We need this font picker and we need this the dark mode toggler. So under this one, what do we need here? We need like a button that we can click on. So here we need like a button that we can click on, and once we click on it, it will pop out this down one. And you know we need a stage to know whether that thing is open or it is not open. So we're just going to do the simple drop down there. So here const open like this, then set open. By default, I'm going to use true in order for us to see the styling there. So there's an error with this. So open, then I'm going to set it to true. But the only time to be true is when you click on, or it's going to be a toggle. So here we're going to have a function that toggle the stuff. So we're going to have toggle constant toggle states with toggle like this. And what it's going to do, its job is just to negate whatever that is there before. So where are we going to use this toggle? We are going to be using it in different places there on this place. But first, let's start with the class here. So this one needs to be relative. Why are we using relative? Because we need to position this one as absolute. Because as you can see now that its position absolute is not coming from where you type it. So it needs to be positioned, the parent needs to be positioned as a relative so that we can position this one as absolute, and it will be using the parent to calculate its offset there like that. So what do we need to do inside this parent? We need to have the button. So this is the button that you are going to click to toggle in case you need to do that. So click like this. What do we want to do? We want to call this our toggle. And what is it going to be inside this button? Whatever you pick, or we need to track what you pick. So whatever you pick here, that's what it will appear inside that place. And as you can see, it's not just the text that is showing there. So it's not just the text, there is this icon that is there too. So we need to put the two of them together inside this parent, which I'm going to wrap this one too in a container. So it's going to be in a container, and inside this container, that's what I'm going to have the button. Then after the button, I'm going to have the image. So this image now is that our drop down there. So let me check the name of the icon there. So let me check the name. So it is let's see, icon. Okay, it is known as this icon arrow. So here we have the image, then we have this icon arrow down. So we can give it this, so drop down like this. So just to, yeah, so inside this button, what do we want to show is the fonts that you pick. So const selected, so selected fonts, then set selected font. By default, we want to have a list of fonts that you can pick from. So we need to have a list of fonts that you can pick from, and I'm going to use a constant to just represent this. So I'm going to use a constant to just represent this list. Yeah, so do I need to put, I don't even need to put in a state, I will just have it directly like this. So we have, we're going to have the options. And what are our options here? So we have the serif, we have the sans serif, but don't forget that text is not what we're actually putting on the, so we need to make sure that this one is in a form of object. So we're going to have the value. So the value is mono, but what are you displaying, or the label that you want to display on the screen? So let me see all the text for each one of them. So we have sans serif. Yeah, that one too is just mono, like that. So we just have mono. This is the value we are going to be saving in the state, but this is what you are displaying to the user there like that. So again, we need to just do copy and paste for the order, or generate the other items we want. So value here, so we're going to have so what was the other one? The other one is going to be serif like this. So the value is going to be serif, while the actual value we want to display on the screen is going to be serif like this. And lastly, the value is going to be sans. This is the text. This is what we are receiving, but the actual stuff we want to display on the screen is going to be sans serif. So whatever that is inside the label was what we want to display. But for this thing, I don't want to bombard it inside this place. Since it's something that is not changing, we just move it outside of the component, because it's not something that is changing like that. So I'll move it outside, or you can even put it in another file. For example, we can just put it there that the font selection options like this, then .js, and inside this place we cut it out from here and export it so that it can be used from outside of this file. So here now we're going to have export, then const fonts. So we're going to have the font options. So we're going to have the font options. Let me move this in out. Why are you blocking my views? So we have the font option. So save, come back to this screen, then we can import it. And where do we need it? So we need it where we want to do the looping. So we're going to have a div here, which is going to be absolute, like this. So the top is going to be so the top is going to be 100%, but for now let me just use absolute. So inside this place, we just need to list out all the options that we want to display to the user there. So what are the options? It's going to be this font option that we need to import from here, then map it, and on it we're going to get each option that we want. And what do you want to render? We want to render items that the user can click on. But instead of me using div here, what we can actually use is our UL, because kind of good for list, like that. Or here, let me just use the div directly. Then inside this place, we're going to have UL. Then inside the UL, like this, I'm going to have my LI. So we're going to have the li like this, so which is going to be option dot label like this. And anytime it is click, we want to do something. But first, let's give it a key. The key is going to be option dot value, like that. So anytime it is click, we want to update this selected. So const update selected like that. Selected fonts. So we're going to receive the fonts that we want to use, and from there, this thing is just going to set selected font to whatever font that you pass into it. And when is it going to be called? So it's going to be called. So here we're going to have on click. So anytime this thing is click there like that, we want to do something. We want to call this update selected font with this particular option, then dot value like this. So let me save it, close the sidebar so that we have enough room. So what are we doing here? What we are doing here is we have this container that is going to be positioned as absolute. Inside it, we have this list, and we have the item. And for each item is going to correspond to the fonts that we have it. And we are displaying the label to the user. But anytime each one of them is clicked, any one of them is clicked, to set the value as the selected stuff. And once this one is set as the selected stuff, we need to update the body with that stuff that is clear whatever that is on the stuff. For example, here, what we can do, we need this one so that we know which font is that needs to have a particular color. Because if you look at it, there is a state there that determines the selected one. So the only one that is selected is what we're going to display here, and it's going to be at the side. So what do we need to do here? Or what I can just do is just to pass my option directly. Then on this option, so I'm going to pass the option like this. So this option, then dot what do we want to put there? We want to put the label, because the label needs to match the stuff. Then we want to do the document, then dot body dot class list like this. We want to firstly just remove everything that is there before. So we can just say class name. So class name like this should just be empty for now. So we just remove everything that is there before. Then we use the document, then dot body, then dot class list here. The class list, then dot add. What are we adding? So option, we're adding the option, then dot value like this. So we are saving the label into this side. That is not what is going to be there. And by default, here we're going to use the first one. So options, font options, then dot which one do we set at the first one? So yeah, it should be, this one should be the first one. Let me see how it's being arranged. The first one is sans serif, then followed by serif, and followed by mono. So it should be like this. So this is the first one. What's going on with the lights? So this is the first one on the list. So the first one on the list, so that we have it like the way it is on the design. So save. So we always want to use the first one by default, because that's what we know that that's what we're using. So then dot value like this, or no, dot label like this. So it's always going to use this by default. Then let's pick this one and display it inside our button. So where is our button? So we need to display it inside the button like this. So the next thing you need to do now is the styling. We are done with the JavaScript part, but something is wrong here. So here we need to send the option, not the value. So like this, anytime it is called, it will call this function, it will update, clear whatever class we have on the body before. But there's a problem here. What if we have dark mode later on? So it will clear the dark mode too. So which is not something that we want to do. But for now, I will leave it like that. We're going to see how to solve that problem. But I want you to see the problem first before solving it, they're solving the problem, because I don't just want to be solving the problem without you seeing the reason why it's being done like that. So let's go back to the page, and on our head, and as you can see, the stuff has been positioned absolute like that. But we need to apply some style so that it looks nice the way we want this thing to look like. And in order for this thing to, I'm just going to go into the desktop. Let me see how it is on the mobile. So this is the desktop design. So let me see how it is when it is open in mobile. So we have this thing open in mobile. Yeah, so it's not shown on mobile that the open state. So I'm going to use the desktop for the design there, but we did not have it. We did not have it on mobile. So I'm going to be using the desktop design for it. So this is what we have. So we need to move, we need to have this design around the box. And inside the box, we need to have all these items. So what is the stuff that is just white? And it has this box shadow, which I'm going to use Tailwind shadow, or we can actually create our own. Yeah. So let's see how we can add our own box shadow into Tailwind there, because it's not every time that what Tailwind give you is what you are going to use. So since the shadow is not matching what we have there, so what we can do here is to add the box shadow. Those are the way we are extending colors. We can extend the shadow to any property you know in CSS. You can extend them. So here, box shadow now. So we want to add our own box shadow. We give it the name, just like the way we are giving name to it. So we can just say app shadow, or we can call it the app drop down shadow like this. So drop down shadow, or I can just leave it like this. So which value do we want to use? It's only the value that you just put here like this. So now in our application, we can start calling this app drop down for the shadow. So we just say shadow, then we have this app drop down. So now we can go back into that font selector there. So where do we want to use it is here. So we want to use this shadow, then app drop down. And once Tailwind is done with everything, you see that we have access to it in our app. As you can see now, we now have access to it. So whatever stuff you put into it, it's going to generate it like that. So it needs to have radius, which is going to be rounded small like this. Let me see. I mean, is this one? So this is 2 pixels, but I think it's more than that. So what's the yeah, border radius is 1 rem. So that's shadow medium or so. So where's the medium? This is not large. This is okay. It is 2XL like that. So, and again, BG is white. So background is white when we're in light mode, but when we're in dark mode, as you can see that the background is different. So it's using this so when we're in dark mode, BG should be gray like this, around this 900. What am I using for the background? What I use for the background, so index.css. What do we use for the background? Because I don't want it to, okay, this one is 950, that one is 900, so that's a little bit of this in there. So for the text, okay, that one is going to work. The text we've already mentioned it. But anytime one that is over, so we need to come and apply some style on this li. But if I do that, let's see what is going on the page first for the styling that we have now. So as you can see, we have the styling, but there is no padding there. So the padding is missing on our box. So we need to add the padding to the box. So let me move this in to this side so that we can see what is going on. And let me go to my VS Code. Under the view, let's use word wrap so that it moves some of our text to next line here like that. So we need padding around that 4 like this, and once it's done loading, then we're going to have enough space here like that. So then the other thing we need to do is this UL. So we need to style this UL. So we need to display it as a flex code like this. So code, the gap should be around that for 1 rem is 2, or let's use 1 rem 2 like this. And I think this will have a minimum width. So let me check it on the design. So if you look at it, the width of the stuff, the width is this around 11.43, which kind of are too big for me when it's. So what I would also do is to have a mean, so a mean width of 11.4. So let me see if the Tailwind is having a width close to that 11 there. So 11 REM, do we have anything like that? But if it's not, I'm going to use tailwind value. So this is 3, 5, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I actually have 11, which is this 44, like that. So save. But as a problem, we did not mention how this thing is going to position. As you can see now, it's not going outside of the screen because we just say absolute, but we did not specify whether left, right, top, or whatever stuff. So that's why so what we need to do here, we don't want the thing to go outside of the screen like this. So what we can do here on the container is to do the right of 1. So which means it's always going to stay to the right of the parent by around that 1 REM like this. And I think this thing is really big for small screen. Is it not going to be too much? I think it's okay. It's actually okay too on small screen. But we don't have the design for small screen. So we don't know what is going on there, like that. And I think I can use 40 for tailwind instead of using that 44. Yeah, 40 should be okay like this. So we want this into top. So the top should be around that 110 because I want it to come down a little bit from the top. So it should be, let me see this. No, I want it to be more than 100. So this is going to be 110% from the top. So the element is going to move from the top of the parent down by this 410%, which is like where it is currently. But I still want it to go down a little bit. Maybe 120 should be okay, like this. And I think the left of it or the right of it should just be 0 instead of this 1 that I added here, like that. So it should be 0. So for this top section here, we can flex it. Item should be center, gap should be around that 2. No, let's say 4, because the what you pick from the option there. Hey, you are dozing. All right, so let me go back to the place. The one that is picked, what is the font? Okay, font is 1.125 and the font weight is bold, so it's always bold. So this our button, we need to give it a class which is going to be font bold like this. So text XL like this, which is 1.25. No, text large, which should be 1.125. Yeah, like this. So save. Going back to the screen, we should have the stuff on the screen like this. So we have this, but we don't want it to appear, or we still need to do some setting. So any one of them that is active at a particular time, the color should be that our app purple, or anyone that is over on top. So class name like this. So the text is going to be app, but it's not going to be app purple. It's only when it's matched. So here I need to condition the style. So when the selected option or selected font, so selected font, if it's the same thing as option or label, what do you want to do? This is not what we want. What you want to do is the text app purple like this, or when it is over. So or when it is over, like that. So over, so text app purple, like this. So save. And again too, it should be cursor pointer like this, because we want it to show that it's something that is clickable. So let me remove this stuff so that we can see it in action. So any one of them that is active, it will give you the color, and the one that you over on top, it will still have that color here. But anytime they are clicked, there, as you can see, is up. Can you see that the font changed too? Because the setting has been done already in our app. So as you can see, it updates this stuff with serif. If you click on Modo now, it will change it to that font. But we should be able to close this stuff anytime it is changed. So anytime the stuff is changed, after it's done changing, we need to call this our toggle, which is going to close whatever stuff that we open there, like that. So go back, then click on serif, and it's supposed to close. Where's my this thing? So toggle, then remove wherever that is there. Yeah, I've not conditioned the stuff. So I've not conditioned the stuff. So yeah, take this stuff and put everything together. This is his default style that is going to use. But if the stuff, if this our open, so if not open, we don't want to see it again at all. But I don't want to use this and because I don't want it to be showing some. So if it is, so this is what we want. So if it is not open, it's going to use this class hidden. And what is hidden? It will just display none. But I don't want to display none. What I want to do is at the top is going to be, so I want to use minus. Just take it up the screen. So 200 percent like this. Just take it outside of the screen like that. But it will go up. You see what I mean by that now. Yeah, so but which means the 200 itself is really small. So what I can do here is to just do maybe 500% like this, which is going to make it to go outside of the screen. So when it is open, it will come down, and when it is closed, it will go up. But the thing is really fast. So it's really fast. So what we can do here is to transition the stuff. So we can use our transition now. So transition, and what do we want to transition? Everything. So just transition all if you want to go. So yeah, currently it's going to transition only color, filter, opacity, whatever stuff like that. But I just want to transition all. Any property that is changing, it's going to take this number of seconds before as you can see, it's going to take 150 milliseconds, but you can actually change the duration too by specifying the duration. So yeah, I can specify 500, which is 1 point this in there, so which is half a second like that. So 500 milliseconds is just half a second, because 1000 milliseconds is 1 second. So now click on it. As you can see, it will take that amount of time to just move, and I think it's slow. So let me use 300 like that. So go back and click on it. So that yeah, this one is more. So click on mono, it will go and it will change the font to mono. Bring it back again, sans serif, and it will change everything to serif like this. So this is just a simple drop down that you can use, and yeah, I think it's okay. And as you can see, or if you click on the button, it will just remove it back. But there's a problem. The problem here is that if you click outside now, it's supposed to disappear too. We are going to see how to handle that. So this kind of a problem is you can solve it by using something known as click outside. So what does click outside mean? It means you are clicking somewhere else that is not related to this stuff. So if it is open, you just close the stuff, and if it's not open, then you leave it. But for now, we're not going to touch it. We just stop here. So here, let me move the dark mode side by side with it. And where is it coming from? It's coming from the site header, which is this parent. So class name here, which is going to be flex, which is going to have a gap of these two items should be center, and going back to the screen, we should have it along with this dark one. And I think this stuff is not enough, so the gap should be around this one area. And I can see from the design that is something beside them that is like a, as you can see, that is this pipe going on there like that. Then we actually have this thing, actually have divider. But I'm going to show you later on. So let me look at the space. The space is really much in between them. So the space is this 1.6, around that 1.625. So let me scroll down to where I can find that 1.6, 1.7, 1.5. So I'm just going to use 1.75 like this, which is this. So save. But is this thing looking nice on small screen? Because whatever we are doing should look okay on a small screen. And as you can see, it's not, but the reason why it's not like that is because of this big text that we have here. It's not the text that will be there. What is going to be there are these two stuff. So, and let's quickly add all this one too, and that's where we stop. So for the dark mode too, we need to remove this, and we need to create that box for the toggler. So I'm going to have a button. So this is the button you'll be clicking on. and I'm going to have a span inside it, which is that circle that is here. So the toggler that we have, so this white box is the span. Why this button is the entire this thing there like that. And after this button, we're going to have that image for the icon there. And again, too, we're going to have the same functionality like to toggle dark and we've done this thing for a particular project, which is something we can quickly bring in there instead of wasting time. So I will just, let me type it again. So we're going to have constant mode, set mode like this. So by default, it's going to be light. So it's going to be light like that. So constant toggle mode like this. So what is the job of this one? The job of it is just to set the mode to either light or the dark one like that. But after setting the mode, you need to update the document. So the document, then dot body, the class name. This is one too is going to cause problem later on like that. But what I can do here, let me solve this problem. So what we can do here, we can just be toggling this stuff. So dot body, then dot class list, then dot toggle like this. But we don't just want to do toggle dark, or if you want, you can do it like this because we know it's always going to be white. But later on, when this thing is in a serious sense, we don't want it to be like this. So we need to check if mode is light. If it is, we do something. If it's not, we do the other stuff. So here, I'm not going to do it like this. So if whatever mode that is there before, so if the current mode is light, you know that we want to change it to dark like that. So here, and you know that there is only two options there. So I will just do S. Can't have another value. So here, if the mode is light, we know that we want to change it to this. So we just set the mode to dark, and after that, what do we do? So what we just do here is a document, then dot body, then dot class list like this. So we need to add the stuff into the list. So class list, then dot add dark. S, we do the opposite, which is going to be set mode back to light, and at the same time we're going to remove the stuff instead of adding to the list. So instead of adding, we just remove the stuff. So save this one. Then in our stuff here, we can add the stuff into it. So we can add this functionality there. So which is going to be on click, which is going to be this toggle mode like this. So, and again, now we need to apply some styles on this one. And what is the styling that we need to apply? If you look at it, we need to apply this style for the box. So we need to apply the style for the box. Now want to allow me to select the box. Let me go to the one that is not okay. Oh, thank God. This is the design. Yeah, this is what I want to select. So what do we have there? The width is 2.5. The height is so 1.5. So this is W. Here is 2.5, 2.25, 2.5. Then the height is around that 1.5. So yeah, here. So rounded full, it should be rounded full like this. So it have padding there, padding of around that 1 like this. So what do we want to do? We need to be shifting this box from left to right based on whether it is in light mode or anything. And again, so the color needs to change. So which means we are going to condition the style. So here I'm going to, this is the default stuff that we have. Then if the mode equals to light or equals to dark, or anyone that you want to listen for first, or anyone you want to apply. So when we're in dark mode, let me expand this thing a little bit like this. So let me format. Why is it not view word wrap? that we can have it on a separate line. So yeah, this is the width, this is the height. And when it is in dark mode, when it's dark mode, there's some styling we need to do. First of all, we need to display it as flex. So flex. So item center, we need to move whatever that is inside it to the center. So when we're in dark mode, you know that icon is supposed to go to the right side. So what we just do is that all we need to do is justify end. So move everything that is inside it to the other side like that. So when it is in dark mode, it should be at the other end like that. Again, too, there's some colors or the background will change. But by default, the background should be this. So let me see the background it's using. So let me see the background it's using. Okay, is this 7575, which is, so I'm going to use gray or slate. So BG slate around this side, I think is, or let me use gray. So BG gray of around this side, like this. Then we need to style this one too. So class name like this. And if you look at it, I think the color of that one, is it changing? Okay, the color is not changing. It's just being moved around. So what's the height and the width? So the height and the width to design this that someone cannot click. So how do I get the height and the width? Okay, finally I can click it here. Okay, the height and the width is that's 12 pixels. So it is 12 pixels. So the height to the edge is 12 pixels. Yeah, is this H3 W3 rounded full like that. Then BG white, and I think it's always white whether you're in dark mode or you're in light mode. And we don't want it's not selectable, you can't select it. So user select should be none. Tailwind, what's your user select? Let me see, select none like this. We don't want the user to be able to and again too, this one should be pointer, so cursor pointer like this. So it's supposed to show that it is something that is clickable. So let's go back to the page and look at what we are doing. So we have this toggler like this, and as you can see, it will keep moving like that. But the color is supposed to change too when we're in dark mode. So this is not the color that's supposed to be the background there. So the color is different. As you can see, the color there is this our app purple. So when it is this, so the BG is going to be app purple like that when it's in dark mode. So save, go back to the page, and this thing looks small to me. It looks smaller to me. So let me just increase it a little bit, because this is 6. So the first should be okay inside it. Okay, now yeah, so it looks bigger the way we want it to be. Now we have our toggler like that. Is there anything that is changing? Let me see when we're in dark mode. So what have we not implemented when we're in dark mode? Okay, this icon supposed to change. This icon supposed to change. So it's still using, okay, I've not even added any icon. So where is the icon coming from? So the icon is this icon moon. So this icon moon is just one that is given to us. So we need to have a copy of it. The one for the dark mode and the one for the light mode, because right now is only one. So images, icon, let me see. So yeah, icon moon.svg like this. So save, go back to the page. It will not work for the dark mode. Yeah, it's working for, as you can see, it's only for the light mode. So we need to have a copy of it. Then we change the color. That's the stuff that is going on there. So what they are doing, so we just need to get our color for the app purpose and duplicate the stuff. So where is our tailwind config? So this is our app purple. So let's copy the color code like this. So duplicate this icon. I need to copy this one. So paste. So paste. Where's my paste? paste. So I need to update it and change the name. So this one is going to be icon mode dark, like this. And we need to update the color, because the color is what we just want to change. So let me see all the color here. So the color is this. So this is what we need to update. Color is this. So paste. Window V. Where are you? Okay. There's it. Is that not it? Tailwind. A4. Yeah, that's it. So save. Go back to the page where we have our where is it? So toggler. And what do we want to do? So we need to condition this style too. So we need to condition the stuff here. So I'm going to cut out everything. You can actually use CSS to do it instead of using one image like this. But I just want to show you how you can handle this stuff. So we need to check here. So if you are in the mode, the same thing as the same thing is this. So this is what we want to use, and this is another thing we want to use. So we want to use this one. What's the name? That this side is going to change whether this icon or this icon based on whether you are in dark mode or you are in light mode. Yes, you can wait, oh, something is wrong. The condition is not right. Should be light. So yeah, so now if you go to the other side, the icon will change, because it will be changing, it will be switching them based on the one that matches the stuff. But this is not the way it's supposed to be. So let's style the div itself. So the class name, flex, items, center like this. So gap around that 3, and this one should be okay. So save, go back to the page, and we should have them now side by side based on whether we're in light mode under the dark mode. So in the next class, then we're going to focus on the search box, and there is time but there's a lot of things that needs to be done on this search box too, because it needs to communicate with this component here based on, and again too, that's where we started setting up our API call, because whatever you type inside the box, once you are done typing, it needs to make an API call to bring the details back to us. So yeah, so we already have this one like that. That is going to be all for today.